Hello, good morning, dear students. Today we are starting with the second part of the fifth chapter, supplementary, that is the Happy Prince. Initially, in the first session, we had seen that a bird was flying and the bird was on their way to Egypt, and the king had seen that a lady and his son. The son was very much not in a good position. He was suffering from a very high fever. So the prince had told the bird to take lead the diamond lead from the eyes and give it to the bird, that child. Fine, so let us just start with the story. When a day broke, he flew down the river and had a bath. Tonight I go to Egypt, said this fellow, and he was in high. So, when the next day began, the swallow just said to the prince that I will just come by taking a bath from the nearest river, and he just took a bath from there, and he is saying that tonight, I am supposed to go to the Egypt. At spirits at the prospect, he visited all the monuments and sat a long time on the top of the church steeple. When the moon rose, he flew back to the happy prince. Have you any commissions for Egypt? He cried. I am just starting. So, for the whole of the day, the swallow was sitting at the top of the church and he was just observing the whole city. Fine. But at night, when it was a daybreak, he just went to the prince to just inform to the prince that now he is going to the Egypt. So he is saying to the prince that are you having any kind of a message that yeah, I am supposed to give to the Egyptians? He just said, I am just starting. So he is saying that now I am just starting my journey. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince. Will you stay with me one night longer? So now the prince is again saying to the swallow that will you please stay with me for the single night? I am waited for in the Egypt, answered the swallow. And again the swallow is giving the same answer to the prince that he has been waited by the other swallows in the Egypt. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince. Far away across the city, I see a young man in a garret. He is leaning over a desk over with papers, and in the glass by his side there is a bunch of white withered violets. His hair is brown and crisp, and his lips are red as pomegranate, and he has large and dreamy eyes. He is trying to finish a play for the director of the theater, but it is too cold to write anymore. There is no fire in the gate, and the hunger has made him faint. So, the next person to whom the prince is going to make happy, he is a writer, and so the prince is saying to this fellow that across the city I can see a single man who is sitting in a garret, means in his house, little house, and he is leaning over the desk with the papers on the desk, and there is blue colored ink which is withered in the bunch of papers, and he is having a brown and crispy eyes, and his lips are as red as a pomegranate, and he is also having a large and a dreamy eyes. So he is trying to finish the play which the director has given to him for the theater, but as it is too cold, it is not possible for that man to write down that script right now, and as there is no fireplace as well. And the next thing is that it is too cold, and he is also suffering from the hunger as well, and so he is not in a position to write. I will wait with you one night longer, said the swallow, who really had a good heart. He asked if he should take another ruby from for the young playwright. Alas, you have no ruby now, said the prince. My eyes are all that I have left. They made rare of sapphires, which were brought out of the India brought out of India 1,000 years ago. So he is saying that my eyes are already used. So the rubies which were in my eyes that are already used. So I am not having any kind of a ruby right now. So the only option they are having is to collect a rare sapphires that are on his coat, and he is saying that as I am having it on my coat, you can take that, and these sapphires are the rest of the rarest which were brought in India thousands of years ago. He ordered this fellow to pluck out one of them and take it to the playwright. he will sail it to the jeweler to buy firewood and finish his play, he said. So the king is saying, sorry, the prince is saying that this playwright, what we will do with this sapphire? He will just go to the jeweler and he will sell it to him. And after selling this, he will earn some money to buy his firewood and to finish his play. Dear prince, said the swallow, I cannot do that. And he began to weep. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince, do as I command you. So the swallow bold started crying that no, I cannot do this kind of things to you. But he is saying that no, no, please, as I had ordered you, you just do that thing. So the swallow plucked out the prince's eyes and flew away, easy to the young man's garret. It was easy enough to get in, as there was a hole in the roof. Through this he darted and came into the room. The young man had his head buried in his hands. He did not hear the flutter of the bird's wings, and when he looked up, he found a beautiful sapphire lying on the withered violets. So it was very much easy for the swallow bird as well to enter into the house of this young man. So as it was, there was a hole, and the young man was in such a high tension that he could not even hear the sound of the birds entrance. So he just, what did the swallow bird do? He just kept the sapphire on the paper, and when the playwright just took his head up, he found the sapphires on the book. I am beginning to be appreciated, he cried. This is from someone a great admirer. Now I can finish my play. And he looked quite happy. And after seeing the sapphire, the young man was also very happy. And he is saying that this thing would be done by someone who is a great admirer and he would be appreciated. The next day, the swallow flew down to the harbor. He sat on the mast of a large vessel and watched the sailors working. I am going to Egypt, cried the swallow, but nobody minded. When the moon rose, he flew back to the prince. So on the next day as well, what did swallow bird do? He just sat on the beach, near a beach where the sailors were sailing their ships. Fine. So he just sat over there and he was crying that I am flying back to Egypt, I am flying back to Egypt. But the people who were working on that harbor, no one did pay any kind of attention to him. So at last, when the moon rose, he just went to the prince to inform that he is moving back to Egypt. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, said the prince, will you not stay for me for one night longer? So again the prince is saying that, will you not stay for me over here for a single night? It is winter, answered the swallow, and the snow will soon be there in Egypt. The sun is warm, and the green palm trees and the crocodiles lie in the mud and look lazily about them. So he is giving that it is a winter over here, and the snow will also come soon in the Egypt. So it is very much important for me to move to the Egypt directly, because the green palm trees will fall down, the crocodiles will be moving in the mud, and they would be looking like a lazy people. In the square below, said the prince, there stands a little match girl. She has let her matches fallen in the gutter, and they are all spoiled. Her father will beat her if she does not bring home some money. So she is crying. So she has no shoes, stockings, and her little head is bare. Plucked out my another eye and gave it to her, and her father will not beat her. So there was a little girl who was selling the matchsticks. Fine. So, but what happened that when the girl went out for selling her matchsticks, all the matchsticks were fallen by her in the gutter. She has not done intentionally, but by mistake the matchsticks fallen into the gutter. And the prince knew that when the girl will just move without the matchsticks to her house, his father would beat her. So the king is saying that you remove another eye or another sapphire from the body and just give it to her. So when you will give that sapphire to her, and when that girl will give that sapphire to her father, the father would be very much happier. I will stay with you for one night longer, said the swallow, but cannot pluck your eye. You could be quite blind then. So the swallow is saying that, okay, sure, I will stay with you for a night, but the main reason is that I cannot remove your eyes, because if I would remove the last sapphire or the last ruby from your eyes, you would be totally blind. Swallow, swallow, said the prince, do as I command you. So pulled out the prince's other's eyes and darted down with him. He swooped past the match girl and slipped the jewel into the palm of her hand. What a lovely bit of glass, cried the little girl, and she ran home laughing. Then the swallow came back to the prince. You are blind now, he said. So I will stay with you always. So when the swallow bird gave the last sapphire to the girl, she was highly excited. She was so much excited that she went home running, and she is saying to the prince that now you are totally blind, so I will remain over here with you always. No, little swallow, said the poor prince, you must go to Egypt. No, I will stay with you always, said the swallow, and slept at the prince's feet. So the prince is saying that no, no, there is no need to stay with me over here for the whole night. You can go to Egypt. But the prince, sorry, the swallow is saying that no, no, I will stay with you for the rest of the life. All the next day, he sat on the prince's shoulder and told him the stories what he had seen in the strange lands. The dear little swallow, said Prince, you tell me of marvelous things, but more marvelous than anything is suffering of man and woman. There is no mystery so great as misery. Fly over my city, little swallow, and tell me what you see there. So now the prince is saying to the swallow that you just do one thing, you just fly over the whole city and inform it to me about the mystery that is going on in the city. So the swallow flew over the great city and saw the rich making merry in the beautiful houses, while the beggars were sitting at the gates. He flew into the dark lanes and saw the white faces of starving children looking listlessly at the black streets. Under the archway of a bridge, two little boys were lying at each other's arms to try to keep themselves warm. How hungry we are, they said. You must not lie here, shouted the watchman, and they wandered out into the rain. So as it was raining, the swallow bird saw the two boys that were hanging each other they were hugging each other because to get some warmness, and they were totally hungry. He saw that in some corners there are a number of rich houses that are being builded over there, but out of that rich houses, number of poor people are beggars are standing over there. Then he flew back and told the prince what he had seen. I am covered with the fine gold, said the prince. You must take it off leaf by leaf and give it to the poor. By leaving, always think that gold can make them happy. So the last option the prince gave to the swallow bird is that what you do, you just do one thing. You just, as I had covered my body with the gold, you collect a single leaf of gold from that and supply it to the beggars, because they would be very much happier. Leaf after leaf of the fine gold the swallow picked off till the happy prince quite looked dull and grey. Leaf after leaf of fine gold brought to the poor, and the children's face grew rosier, and they laughed and played in the street. We had bread, now they cried. So, as everyone who were begging, the people who were not having a good financial position, everyone had received the gold from the king. So they think that they had already received a bread, means they had already received something more than that they have expected. Then the snow came, and after the snow came the frost. The street looked as if they were made of silver. Everybody went out in four, and the little boys wore scarlet caps and snagged at the eyes. The poor little swallow grew colder and colder, but he would not leave the prince. He loved him too well. He picked up crumbs outside the baker's door when the baker was not looking. He tried to keep himself warm by flapping his wings. But at last he knew that he was going to die. He had just enough strength to fly up to the prince's shoulder once more. So, when the snow started, the body of the prince was also turned grey, and the people who were initially not from a very wealthy family, they had also gained everything at the last, and the swallow already knew that now he is not having any position or not having that much strength that he would survive for a longer period of time. He was having that much energy only, that once only he would move to the shoulder of the prince. But at last he knew that he was going to die. He had just enough strength to fly up to the prince's shoulder once more. Goodbye, dear prince, he murmured, and will you let me kiss your hand? I am glad that you are going to Egypt at last, little swallow, said the prince. You have stayed too long here, but you must kiss me on the lips, for I love you. It is not to Egypt that I am going, said the swallow. I am going to the house of death. Death is the brother of sleep. He is not. So the prince is thanking to the swallow bird that you had done this much things for me, and you had already made me happy. You had done everything for me as well as for my city. So I love you for that. And will you please allow me to kiss on your lips? Before going, you are moving further to the Egypt. So the swallow bird is saying that I am not moving to the Egypt, but I am going to the house of death, which is similar to the sleep, and they kissed the happy prince on the lips, and he fell down at his feet. At that moment, a curious crack sounded inside the statue, as something has broken. The fact is that the leaden heart had snapped right in two. It certainly was a dreadful heart frost. Early the next morning, the mayor was walking in the square below in the company with the town councillor. As they passed the column, he looked at the statue. Dear me, how shabby the happy prince looks, he said. How shabby indeed, cried the town councillors, who always agreed with the mayor. And they went to look up at the ruby has fallen out from his sword, his eyes are gone, and his gold is no longer, said the mayor. In fact, he is little better than a beggar. Little better than a beggar, said the town councillors. And here is actually a dead bird at his feet, continued the mayor. We all really issue a proclamation that the birds are not. So, when the next morning, the mayor and the other councillors of the town were moving around with the city near the city and near the statue of the happy prince, they observed that the situation of the prince was worse than earlier, and when they just moved near to the statue, they observed that none of the gold was found on the statue, and none of the sapphires or gold ruby was found to be allowed to die here. And they had also seen that a bird was sleeping. Once a died bird was there, and the town clerk made a note of the suggestion. They pulled down the statue of the happy prince, as he is no longer beautiful and he is no longer useful, said the art professor at the university. So an art professor of the university said that this statue is no longer beautiful nor it is helpful. Then they melted the statue in a furnace. What a strange thing, said the overseer of workmen at that foundry. This broken lead heart will not melt in the furnace. We must throw it away. So they threw it on the dust heap where the dead swallow was also lying. Bring it to me, the two most precious things in the city, said God to one of his angels, and the angel brought him the leaden heart and the dead bird. So, and when the whole body or the whole statue of the prince was being buried, the artist said it was buried in the furnace where the dead bodies are being burnt. So they said that all the things of the body would be burnt, but the two parts of the heart, means the heart which has been broken into the two parts, that won't burn. And on the next day, the Pujari or someone said to the little girl that you bring the two most precious things in the city, little angel. And what did the angel brought? She brought the two parts heart of the prince and the dead bird. So he is saying that you have rightly chosen, said the good, for in my garden of paradise this little bird shall sing for me ever more in my city, and gold of a happy prince shall praise me. So why did they demanded the two most beautiful things? Because as they want in their heaven to have the two most beautiful things, that is a bird would sing for them ever and more than beautiful than everyone, and a kind heart of a happy prince. Thank you.